certain Indian politicians, having partaked with these kind of honey traps, or being caught in these kind of honey traps. Now they have used this against other politicians, other countries, and this is, like I said, this is the oldest trick in the book.
Right.
But in this particular case, the actresses, of course, will deny it. No actress will ever say that, yes, she was involved in these activities. But if you look at some of the public statements of these actresses, the kind of postures they have adopted, I think, questions can be raised about how plausible their denials actually are. And then, of course, there are videos of the generals themselves partaking in this kind of activity,
Yes.
which have also been coming out. We
Correct.
know it for a fact that Imran Khan has been indulging in this kind of activity. He was a womanizer to start with, but even as prime minister, there were stories of his womanizing and all kinds of other peccadillos which he had. So again, it only exposes the hypocrisy of the Pakistanis. These are guys who will not allow a Hindi movie to play in Pakistan because they think Pakistani culture
Yeah.
will be affected, will be polluted. But I suppose these videos actually tell you what Pakistani culture is all about.
Not just that. Then does this also not expose the what you've been highlighting, the brazen hypocrisy of the Pakistani society itself, where they try to play holier than thou or present themselves as holier than thou, but they are not, because what this ex-military major of Pakistan, Raja Adil, has alleged is that they are used for blackmailing politicians and making scandalous videos with them. But it's not just the allegation, like you said, Sushantji. These videos are also there. It's also the fact that ये पहली बार नहीं हुआ, but these videos are there. Some of these actresses have plied their wares in Bharat. Should we then be concerned that whoever is coming in from Pakistan, do they have to then be scrutinized from the intelligence point of view? Whether or not and how close they are with the ISI or the establishment there, and are they also pushing an ulterior motive along with perhaps filling their pockets? Because Bharat में पैसा है.
Yeah, look, of course, you have to keep, if you want to survive as a nation, then you have to have eternal vigilance against these kind of people. To think that just because a Pakistani comes into India, he's just come for work and there is no other ulterior motive, I think that's nonsense. Look, we've seen some of the film makers who have patronized the Pakistanis. We've seen their positions, for example, on 26/11 attacks, haven't you? Very noted filmmakers who have been very patronizing towards the Pakistani stars, who have patronized them, who have given them breaks, who have spoken for them, who have picked up cudgels for them. Please look at
Right.
their standpoints on the 26/11 terror attacks. How they
Yes.
defended the Pakistanis, how they tried to deflect attention onto RSS and other things. The red herrings which they created. You mean to tell me that was all innocent? You mean to tell me that these guys actually were playing with a straight bat? And it's not just film stars. It's not just film stars or starlets which come from Pakistan or models who come from Pakistan. I can tell you about journalists or wannabe journalists who come to India to interview politicians, and what has happened after that. So
Yes.
again, these are things which have always been known. I suppose many people in the Indian intelligence community have also known of these things. But, many times for one reason or another, these are brushed under the carpet and nobody talks about them openly. But when the Pakistanis are washing their own dirty linen in public, then I think, it's important for Indians to understand where many of these things are coming from and how this entire racket operates.
Right. So, Shanji, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Top of this edition of The Nation at 5. Thank you for your inputs. Have to shift focus away from Pakistan, closer home towards Assam, and news coming in from Dibrugarh, where reports have emerged of a minor Hindu girl being abducted by a married Muslim man. Now, the girl's mother has said that she had gone for tuition classes and has not returned. Her phone's been switched off, and the family has alleged that the prime suspect is a man named Jahidul who worked as a hawker in the area. Jaidul, so far from that time, this little girl has been missing, this minor girl has been missing, has also been missing. Jaidul has been missing. They have requested Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma to step in and help, and it was actually the Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma who actually tagged the Dibrugarh police and said, get into the entire story and get to the bottom of it and help the family. Himanta Biswa Sharma also, like I said, asking the authorities take immediate action. Let's listen into the reactions that have come in from the family.
ছোৱালীজনী মোৰ ভাগিন হয়। সি আপোনাৰ যোৱা শনিবাৰৰ পৰা গধূলি টিউশ্যনৰ কাৰণে ওলাই গৈছিল, তাৰপৰা সি ৰিটাৰ্ণ ঘৰলৈ উভতি অহা নাই। তাৰ কাৰণে আমাৰ ভিনদক বহুত চিন্তা হ'ল। ওচৰৰ পুলিচ ষ্টেচনত তাৰ ৰিপৰ্ট কৰোৱা হ'ল। পুলিচে নিজৰ কাম কৰি আছে, কিন্তু আজি 5 দিন হ'ব হৈছে ছোৱালীজনী একো আমি বিচাৰি পোৱা নাই। তো আমি আমাৰ চৰকাৰ মাননীয় শ্ৰীমান হিমন্ত বিশ্ব শৰ্মাৰ পৰা অনুৰোধ কৰিছোঁ যে আমাৰ ছোৱালীজনীক মানে যিমান জলদি হয়।
টিউশ্যন গৈছিলে, টিউশ্যনৰ পৰাই মানে সি নাপাতা হৈ গ'ল। তাক আমি ফোন কৰিছোঁ, সি নাই অহা ঘৰত। তেতিয়া আমি তাক বিচাৰিলোঁ, তাৰপাছত তাক নাপালোঁ বুলি আমি লগে লগে থানালৈ এজাহাৰ দিলোঁ। তাত দিয়াৰ পাছত সিহঁতে দ্বিতীয় দিনাৰ পৰা নিজৰ কাম মানে আৰম্ভ কৰি দিলে পূৰা, কিন্তু এতিয়ালৈকে আমি ছোৱালীৰ একো খবৰ পোৱা নাই।
কোনে নিলে বুলি সন্দেহ কৰিছে আপোনালোকে?
এইটো আমাৰ ঠেলাৱালা এটা আছিলে, দোকানত ঠেলা চলাইছিলে, তাকে আমি সন্দেহ কৰিছোঁ কেলে সি ইয়াত নাই, জাইদুল আলী বুলি।
Well, there are images and pictures of Jaidul also that have now been pushed out. The family has complained to the local authorities. So far, there is no trace of this girl and also this man who is a hawker in the area. The family has reasons, very clearly, very confirmed reasons to believe that he is the man who has abducted their daughter, who's a minor girl. And they believe that from the day she stepped out for tuitions, on that day itself, Jaidul as a hawker, he is also not been seen and he is also missing. Now there are pictures which have also come out, which have been shared, which show Jaidul as a person who's a married man. He has a child of his own, but now the family is alleging that it is this man who has abducted this minor Hindu girl from this area in Dibrugarh in Assam. We'll try and connect with Preeti Priyadarshini for more details, but it is the Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma who, after the family reached out to him and tagged him on social media and reached out for help with all the details, has also now asked the local authorities, tagging the Dibrugarh police, to try and get to the bottom of it and help this family find their girl. They do not know whether this child is, where this child is, where this minor girl is. They do not know about her well-being. No details have surfaced so far. We'll try and connect with Preeti for more details on this. Preeti, are you there with us? Well, we'll try and connect with Preeti the moment she's through. Preeti Priyadarshini is with us. Preeti, can you take us through the details? Have the cops gotten into action? Do they know anything about the whereabouts of Jaidul, who's the prime suspect?
Yes, Anand, I have to tell you that as of now, Jahidul is not being found, although the police of 3 districts are on track. They are tracking Jahidul, and after the Chief Minister of the state, Himanta Biswa Sharma, retweeted and asked to put them proper interest into this whole incident. We have seen that the police of Barpeta, to where Jahidul actually belonged, and along with that, the Guwahati police, and also along with that the place from where he is actually the girl was it is to be said that she has been kidnapped, Duliajan. There also the police is on alert. They are trying to find Jahidul, and even the parents of the victim has also urged the police and the Chief Minister of the state to please see through this matter, because they are very worried, as she is just 17 years old and she was reading in class 11, and it has been told that she is not being found since the evening of 31st December. So it is actually worrying not just the parents but also people in the locality, because she was just 17 years old and was reading in class 11. And it has been said that Jahidul's cell phone got switched off in Hatigaon in Guwahati, which is again worrisome, because it means that he shifted from that original place from where the girl was kidnapped, and she was probably brought to Guwahati, where in Hatigaon the phone of the accused Jahidul got switched off, and that is why the Dibrugarh police is also here in Guwahati now, so that the Guwahati police and the Dibrugarh police can go together and track Jahidul as soon as possible, because it's been so many days now since the girl has gone missing.
Two or three questions and you can answer them together. Has Jahidul left his existing family behind in Dibrugarh? One. When was his phone switched off, or till what time was it active in Hathigaon? Was it switched off on the 31st, 1st, 2nd? When did that happen? And why does the family believe that he is the one who's the prime suspect in the abduction of their daughter?
Yes, firstly, I have to tell you that Jahidul's or native place is in Barpeta, where his family belongs, where he has a child. He is a married person. So his family is in Barpeta actually, which is why the police is now keeping a track that Jahidul might also come to his family. However, Jahidul has yet not went to his family now, and his family is in Barpeta itself, because his native place is in Barpeta. And as far as the phone that went switched off in Hathigaon, it has been told that the next day itself, on the 1st of January, the phone got switched off as the police had tracked the matter. Although the FIR was lodged later, but while police tracked the details, it was told by the guardian, the parents of the girl, that the accused's mobile, the cell phone, was switched off the next day itself. And while tracking the details, it was found that it was switched off near Hathigaon. And the minor girl who is now missing, her phone also got switched off almost around the same time, because twice the phone rang when her parents tried to call her. Twice it rang, and then after that it was not ringing after that. Anand.
Right, so these are the details. Now you're saying Dibrugarh police has also come up to Guwahati. Have they gone on beyond Guwahati? Are there pictures going to be put out because she's a minor? So can her information, pictures be shared? Or is it going to be first that the cops are going to focus on locating the whereabouts of Jahidul and thereby find this minor girl who's just 17 years old, and the family alleges that she's been abducted by a hawker in their area in Dibrugarh. Thank you for your inputs, Preeti. Shifting focus, moving away from Assam and turning the spotlight towards Uttarakhand and Haldwani, where the division bench of the Uttarakhand High Court issued the eviction orders after listening to all parties concerned and judged that these families who were there in the Gafur Basti area near Haldwani station were occupying railways land. The land belongs to the railways. But the High Court ordered the demolition of these encroachments in the land, where nearly 4,356 of the 4,365 establishments were deemed as encroached, where they did not have proper land records. And the court said that if they do not vacate, give them a week to vacate. If they do not vacate, then use force and demolish these places. This is the judgment. This matter has been going on in the rounds of the courts since 2013, if not before that. And it's also come to the Supreme Court before in the past. The matter will now be placed before the Supreme Court tomorrow. That's the 5th of January. But Chief Minister Pushkar Dhami has said that the government will take action as per the Supreme Court's order. Remember, Congress and the Samajwadi Party are protesting against this eviction order, demanding that the government rehabilitate all the residents. They have also accused the government of targeting Muslim majority population of the area. Let's look at some of the reactions and also ground report coming in from Anshul.
A decision given by the Uttarakhand High Court has sparked a lot of controversy. Uttarakhand High Court has gone ahead and said that the buildings that you see right here, all these buildings are deemed illegal and has been deemed as encroachments. Now, according to the locals who have been staying on the ground, they say that all these buildings have been built here for many, many generations, and they have been staying here for many, many generations. However, the decision that has come to the fore, the Uttarakhand High Court has said that the local authorities can use any amount of force to make sure that all these encroachments are removed within a gap of 7 days. It remains to be seen how does the Supreme Court now respond to this entire controversy, and if the Supreme Court could bring any sort of relief to these people who are going to be homeless if the Supreme Court refuse to step in. कैसे देखते हैं इस पूरे मामले को? इतने सालों से आप लोग यहाँ रह रहे हैं, उसके बाद आपके साथ इस तरह का व्यवहार हो रहा है और कहा गया कि फोर्स यूज करके भी आपको हटाया जाना चाहिए।
ये सब सियासी दबाव है। और ये एक पार्टी का हमारे ऊपर दबाव बनाकर हमें खाली कराने की कोशिश की जा रही है। और इसमें जो है भारतीय जनता पार्टी को इस क्षेत्र से वोट नहीं मिलता, वो बदले की भावना से काम कर। आप जो है जो हाई कोर्ट का फैसला है, ये स्वयं उसका फैसला नहीं है, ये दबाव है इसके पीछे।
निगम ने 2016 में ये कहा कि ये हमारी प्रॉपर्टी है। आज 2022 में निगम क्यों मने कर रहा है कि हमारी प्रॉपर्टी नहीं है? उन्होंने हाई कोर्ट के जजों को गुमराह करा ना निगम ने, कि ये हमारी प्रॉपर्टी नहीं है, ये साहब रेलवे की है।
इनको खुद नहीं पता है कि इनकी जगह है कितनी जगह है, ये किस बिना पर मतलब इतनी जगह मांग रहा है। तो यहाँ पर
बिल्कुल मिले हुए हैं पटरी से और जाके लालगढ़ साइड में काठगोदाम की, तो वहाँ रेलवे।
अब ये यहाँ आकर के तो कहते हैं कि 800 फीट है, लेकिन आप इधर चले जाए, काठगोदाम चले जाए या शीश महल चले जाए, वहाँ पर 20-20 फीट पर जो है 20-20 फीट पर मकान की दूरी बने हुए हैं।
माननीय सुप्रीम कोर्ट के सामने है अब मामला, और हमारे हाथ जुड़े हुए भगवान से कि हमको सुप्रीम न्याय मिले, लोगों की छत बचे, लोगों के घर परिवार बचे। और साथ साथ माननीय मुख्यमंत्री से भी मेरी प्रार्थना है इस मौन उपवास के माध्यम से कि वो हस्तक्षेप करें। हम आध्यात्मिक प्रदेश हैं और हमारे प्रदेश में यदि 50-55 हज़ार लोग, जिसमें बच्चे भी हैं, गर्भवती महिलाएं हैं, वृद्ध महिलाएं हैं, वृद्ध पुरुष हैं, इस ठंड में सड़कों पर आएंगे, उनके घर तोड़ दिए जाएंगे, तो ये बहुत ही दुखद होगा।
सर, आज आप यहाँ पर आए, लोगों से मिले हैं आप, क्या आपको लगता है, क्या समझ में आया लोगों से मिलकर के, क्या भावना है लोगों की?
हमने बहुत बड़ी त्रासदी देखी है। हमने अपनी ज़िंदगी में इतने लोगों को एक साथ रोते हुए नहीं देखा था। हमने यहाँ बुज़ुर्गों की सिसकियाँ देखी हैं, मरीज़ों को रोते हुए देखा है। हम ये अपनी ज़िंदगी में कभी नहीं भूल सकते। इनका कोर्ट का जो भी फैसला है, जाहिर है हम सब कोर्ट को मानने वाले लोग हैं, कहीं ना कहीं पैरवी में कमी रह गई, जिसकी वजह से ये सब कुछ हो रहा है। ये लोग जब से रह रहे हैं, सरकार ने यहाँ 4 स्कूल बनाए, सड़कें बनाई हैं, सीवर लाइन डाली है, तो ये कैसे अवैध हो गई? सरकार को नहीं मालूम था क्या? और अगर कहीं ना कहीं ऐसा कुछ हुआ भी है तो सरकार इनको रेगुलराइज कर सकती है, कानून पास किया जा सकता है। और अगर इन्हें विस्थापित ही करना चाहते हैं तो इनको दूसरी जगह दी जाए, इनको मुआवजा दिया जाए, इनको एक नौकरी दी जाए। 52,000 लोगों को, जिसमें बच्चे, महिलाएं, बुजुर्ग, बीमार, गरीब लोग जो दिन भर काम करते हैं और रात को उनको रोटी नसीब होती है, ऐसे उजाड़ दिए जाएंगे।
ये बहुत नाजायज है। ये हाय खाली नहीं जाएगी अगर सताएंगे तो। कितनी महिलाएं नई विधवाएं बैठी हैं, हाथ उठाए हुए दुआ कर रही हैं। कितनी विधवाएं नई 2 बच्चे, एक बच्चे के। इतना जुल्म तो अंग्रेजों ने भी नहीं करा कि ये सरकार जो कि मुसलमानों के साथ में जुल्म कर रही है।
हम लोगों ने यहाँ अपने रब से दुआ की है। हमारे घरों को उजाड़ा जा रहा है, हमारे ऊपर नाइंसाफ़ी की जा रही है। अगर इंसाफ ही करना है तो काठगोदाम से तोड़ते हुए लाएं, क्योंकि वही लास्ट स्टेशन है, वहीं से ही ट्रेन उन्हें चालू करनी है।
दुआ ये कराई गई है कि ये आशियाने उजड़ने से बच जाएं, ये घर उजड़ने से बच जाएं, क्योंकि इन घरों को लोगों ने बड़ी मेहनत और मशक्क़त के साथ बनाया है। प्रूफ दिए जा रहे हैं 200 साल पुराने, 85 साल पुराने प्रूफ दिए जा रहे हैं। तो सिर्फ़ और सिर्फ इतना कहा जा रहा है कि इन घरों को ना उजाड़ा जाए। जब इतना प्रूफ दिया जा रहा है तो जो है कोर्ट को एक तरफा फैसला नहीं, दोनों तरफा फैसला करना चाहिए। लगता तो यह है कि सब बादशाहों का बादशाह एक है, सब शहंशाहों का शहंशाह एक है। उसकी जब लाठी चलेगी तो कोई नहीं रोक पाएगा। बस सबसे बड़ी बात है, उस पर तवक्कुल है, उस पर यकीन है, और यही यकीन हमें कामयाबी और कामरानी दिलाएगा।
Now, Anshul, there are allegations being made that women, children are being put up in front. The division bench of the Uttarakhand High Court listened to all sides, and most of the people present there could not present valid land ownership records, and this entire land belongs to the railways. This is a case that's been going on for nearly a decade now. The point is, why is there a political color being given to a court order? Why are political leaders coming out and saying, and people alleging that this is being done by the design of somebody? So they are actually casting aspersions on the judgment of a division bench of the Uttarakhand High Court.
Well, definitely, the entire population that is residing over here is definitely raising questions in the manner in which the entire order has come out of the Uttarakhand High Court. Because if you see, there are many government schools, there are many government hospitals in this entire area which has now been earmarked as encroachments by the Uttarakhand High Court. Yes, the people on the ground are saying that the lawyer that they had hired, he might have not put their version in the right manner, and that is why they are now pointing all their hopes on the Supreme Court, as the Supreme Court is going to hear the matter tomorrow, the plea tomorrow, and it remains to be seen if the Supreme Court will at all entertain the plea and put a stay on this order. Because if you see, I'll just try and show you an example over here. If you see, this is a government school that is in this very location, and this government school has been here since 2005 itself. So yes, people are saying that if the entire land belonged to the railways, then why did government come out here and do such kind of developments? There are also sewer lines that have been
But
laid
the
out
simple
here by
point,
the government
Anshul, is if the
themselves.
land belongs to the railways, no matter who constructs it, the court has deemed it as illegal because the land this is encroachment. The court has this matter not been kept in front of the court? Has the fact that there are temples, mosques, there are government schools, hospitals, etc., everything has been built over this 78-acre plot, all of this is in front of the court. But at the end of the day, if the land belongs to the railways, then nobody has the right to build over it if they do not have the title.
Well, definitely, the people are saying that they respect the order of the court, but yes, the manner in which the order of the court has come up, they are saying that this is out of a political design, since the locals are claiming that this area is actually a stronghold of the Congress party for the past many years, and that is the reason why the locals over here are saying that all this is being done by a design. That is
No,
why they are saying that political
so,
parties.
but if that's what the locals are alleging, then they are openly attaching motive and design to a judgment of the court, which after the Supreme Court told them to listen to all sides, has listened and then passed this judgment. Anyway, the matter is going to go into the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court is going to take cognizance of this entire issue coming on Thursday. That's the 5th of January. Anshul, thank you for your inputs. We're going to take a very short break here on The Nation at 5. Stay with us. The details on the Kanjiwala case when we come back.
Bike. She insisted on driving the bike, and then she goes on, and this accident happens. She sees her friend stuck under the car, and she does not alert anyone, neither the police, nor her family members, nor any passing bystanders. Do you believe that her story adds up?
I would like to vilify a friend of the deceased. I think something terrible has happened. And I do believe it would have been very shocking and scary for Nidhi, the person you're talking about. So I would like to castigate her. I mean, it's understandable that she was scared and what all was happening at that point of time. We saw some footage of how things played out. They had a bit of a scruff. And I understand that she would have said that, I don't want you to drive. I would like to drive myself. Maybe you had something to drink. But I mean, the entire thing is really shocking. I don't know what kind of men are these. And I cannot believe, even if you have music playing or not playing, when you're driving, you would know. You would know. And especially when the car has hit a person, there's a scooty, and apparently it was a headlong shave.
Yeah.
So you would know. So I think it's terrible. It's terrible that this happened.
No, but the reason I asked you that, and she goes on to say, her phone got destroyed in the melee. Okay, fine, we believe that. She says, I went home. Did you tell anybody in your family? She said, no, I just told my mother that mere saath accident hui hai. Yes, she was in shock, no doubt about it. But put any of us in that position. If we have a friend who is stuck under the chassis of a car and whose body is being dragged out, the least we'll do is, cry out loud, raise an alarm.
No, we would not. Many of us would not do that. Some of us would, even if it was not a friend. But many of us would get scared, would not. And a lot of men wouldn't do that. A lot of people won't do that. A lot of family members, to protect their own, would not. To protect themselves, won't. This is the nature of who we are as a people. And so I don't want to say, and I don't know how much truth the Nidhi is saying, is owning up to, where her parents are concerned. So, just because she's scared to own up something, because she was part of it, she says, and I heard her correctly, that she learned of it the next day. but she saw what happened. But she also she incriminates the men. She says she could have been saved. So she doesn't let the men get away.
No, fair enough. Look, those men are under arrest. They should, the strictest punishment that the law can afford should be meted out on them.
Another girl. Let's vilify the men.
Let's talk about the lack of... I agree with that. No one is trying to take away the focus from these brutes, these absolute brutes who, despite knowing that a body was stuck under their car, continued to drive on for a good 10 to 12 kilometers. I want to ask Dr. Anika Mehrotra of the Congress. The point is that over the course of this 2 hours, at 2:04 or 2:05, this accident happens. And then at 3:30, the first set of PCR calls happen. The police reach at 4:15. So a good 2 hours plus, this body was driven around in this stretch in Sultanpuri for 10 to 12 kilometers. The occupants of the car knew there was a dead body. They didn't bother to stop. The police, at least 3 PCR calls went out, and I'll play out. We have a bite of an eyewitness as well a little later on in the program. But at least 3 PCR calls went out, and the police only reached at 4:15, a good 2 hours and 15 minutes later.
So, because you see, I feel the tagline of the police, Nyay, Seva, Suraksha, I mean, it doesn't even befit them now. It's unfortunate with such kind of tagline. What kind of performance is this? So it has been happening in Delhi, and I've seen other reporters, sir, who've been to that area and have taken a recce of the area. They say that there are lampposts, but there are no lights in it. I mean, and there was they did that kind of the scene there, but they could not find any PCR after the event, also after the episode, after this ghastly act. So what I'm trying to say is that it's mere lip service. None of us are concerned of the fact that these things are happening in and around. So I think it's high time that we stop lip service. Nirbhaya case was enough for us to understand the gravity of the situation, sir. And now we are not bothered about what's happening.
Back on the nation at 5, and the hit and drag case of 23-year-old Anjali reeks of apathy, negligence, and somewhere a lackadaisical approach towards getting to the bottom of a gruesome crime, ladies and gentlemen. First, the attempt to try and dismiss it as an accident. So far, you'll be shocked to believe that the Sultanpuri police station and the SHO so far has not even upgraded this entire offence from 304 to 302, despite the family of the deceased asking for it, despite the evidence pointing towards motive, despite the eyewitness coming out and saying, yes, they dragged her, they knew they were dragging her. All of these aspects so far have still not merited the revision of the FIR and the charges against the 4 brutes and the 5th person to whom this grey Baleno belonged. Meanwhile, the questions and the veracity, the authenticity, and whether or not Anjali's friend Nidhi and her witness, she's the eyewitness, her statement can be trusted is being questioned. The family of Anjali itself have come out and contested that she was inebriated under the influence of alcohol claim by saying that the postmortem doesn't talk about any alcohol in her system, nor did she have the habit of consuming any alcohol. So they are contesting the versions of Nidhi. They also hold her equally to blame. The FSL team is now trying to understand and it's trying to gather all pieces of possible forensic evidence which is possible by getting into the car, looking at it, and whether or not, how is it that that grey Baleno could drag the body of a 23-year-old and the drivers and the people inside did not know for 12 kilometers? Is it even palatable or believable? Those brutes, don't forget them, ladies and gentlemen. The other point is that the call data records now will be examined by the police. Why? To establish that both Nidhi and Anjali were together. Where were the location of these 4 brutes inside the car? And to piece together the entire timeline, because the CCTV footage and the time codes on the CCTV footage are also stupefying. Let's listen into the reactions.
मैं नहीं जानती निधि को।
आप निधि को जानती नहीं है? उससे पहले कभी कोई मुलाकात नहीं हुई?
पहले घर पे आए थे फिर लेके गए? मैंने नहीं देखा निधि को।
अच्छा, अंजलि को पहले निधि ने कहा कि बहुत शराब पी थी, लेकिन पोस्टमार्टम रिपोर्ट में ऐसा है नहीं। अंजलि ने कहा कभी कभी शराब पी थी।
हमारे घर पे तो कभी नहीं पी और नहीं कभी पी के आती थी ये वो।
निधि कभी घर पे आई आपके?
नहीं, मैंने नहीं देखा उसको।
निधि जो आरोप लगा रही है या जो बातें कह रही है, आपको लगता है कि वो ठीक है या गलत है?
गलत है।
ऐसा सारी निधि की बातें गलत है?
क्यों
कर रही होगी ऐसा?
हमें नहीं पता जी क्यों कर रही है।
आप अब अंजलि कभी किसी पार्टी में जाती थी, शराब वाली बात आती थी, ऐसी कभी बातें हुई है क्या?
नहीं।
निधि को मैंने आज तक कभी नहीं देखा, वो अंजलि के साथ नहीं है। और निधि ने जो कहा है, अंजलि ने अल्कोहल करी थी, अगर अल्कोहल होती तो पोस्टमार्टम रिपोर्ट में जरूर आती, ठीक है। और दूसरी बात, 1:30 बजे की उसमें क्या बोलते हैं फुटेज में वो लड़की साथ में थी, 2 बजे की फुटेज में वो लड़की साथ में नहीं थी। जिस होटल में गई थी उस होटल में उसने खुद लड़की को बुलाया था। अगर हम किसी होटल में भी जाते हैं तो जिसके नाम का रजिस्टर्ड होता है वो बंदा खुद होता है, उसमें निधि का ही रजिस्ट्रेशन है, ना कि हमारी भांजी का।
निधि का नाम लिखा हुआ है।
हाँ जी, तो आप इसी से सोचो कि मतलब किसने किसको बुलाया, लड़के उसने बुलाए, उसने जबरदस्ती करवाने की हमारी भांजी के साथ कोशिश करवाई है, वो एक्सेप्ट नहीं हुई। वो लड़की जानबूझ को उसको पकड़ के ले जाने की कोशिश करी है, जो फुटेज में आ रहा है।
अल्कोहल पाया जाता तो इसमें लिखा होता कि केमिकल वहां पर जो है अल्कोहल मिला है। अगर उसमें स्टमक में वो ये कह रहे हैं सिर्फ फूड पार्टिकल मिला है, मतलब कि अल्कोहल कहीं से कहीं तक नहीं था। पोस्टमार्टम रिपोर्ट के हिसाब से अंजलि का जो ब्रेन है वो अभी भी मिसिंग है। जो उसका भेजा था, जिसको हम ब्रेन कहते हैं, वो 5 से 6 किलोमीटर की बर्बरता के बाद कहीं कंजावाला रोड पे गिर गया और ब्रेन जो है वो मिसिंग है। और ये ब्रेन मिसिंग होने के बाद में जब मैंने पोस्टमार्टम में देखा, इसको भी मैं आपको बताऊंगा, ब्रेन मैटर मिसिंग। पोस्टमार्टम रिपोर्ट के हिसाब से उसके शरीर पे तकरीबन 40 इंजुरीज आई हैं। एक इंसिडेंट होता है, 2 लोग एक ही स्कूटी पे हैं, एक बच्ची के साथ इतना घनन अपराध हो जाता है, वो मर जाती है, और एक बच्ची जो है वो सडनली एक साइड हीरोइन की तरह 75 घंटे 80 घंटे गायब होती है और सडनली प्लांट होती है कि भैया मैं भी उस वाक्य में थी और ऐसा ऐसा हुआ। तो मैं निधि के सारे आरोपों को बेबुनियाद बताता हूँ। सिर्फ एक ही पर्पस है कि अंजलि को इंसाफ मिलना चाहिए और हम अंजलि को इंसाफ दिलवा के रहेंगे।
क्योंकि मेरा उस दौरान फोन भी टूट गया था। फोन टूटने पर मैं बहुत होपलेस हो गई थी। मेरे को जो ठीक लगा अपने घर जाना।
उन्होंने मेरे से मतलब पहले तो उन्होंने अपना गेट खुलवाने की कोशिश करी, अपनी मम्मी को आवाज मारी, उनने गेट खुलवाने की कोशिश करी तो मतलब गेट नहीं खुला। तो फिर उसने मेरे से बोला निशान तेरे पास सी टाइप चार्जर है? तो मैंने बोला हाँ मेरे पास हैगा। तो उन्होंने मेरे को अपना फोन दिया, मैंने चार्जिंग पे लगा दिया उसका फोन।
And now another CCTV footage has emerged. This CCTV footage shows that a PCR van actually passed the accident spot just minutes after the entire incident. That's what happened. Have a look at this footage, ladies and gentlemen. And this is the PCR van that's passing this entire spot minutes after the entire accident happened at this very spot. This is the incident spot. How is it that they did not spot a mangled scooty being parked there? This is the PCR van that is passing that spot. It is going out slowly. It's not even driving very fast. It's going out slowly. How is it that this PCR van did not spot that mangled scooty which had been parked there, which was then reported by locals, and then thereafter at 4:55, at post 4 a.m., you had a local police officer who came back and then spotted this scooty after people called. So this PCR van has been spotted passing through that incident just minutes afterwards. Anvit is now joining us. Anvit, the Delhi police have to answer a lot of questions. First, starts with this CCTV footage. That PCR van passed the accident spot, but the cops inside the PCR van did notice a mangled scooty being parked on the road. That's a huge challenge. Today it's a mangled scooty. Tomorrow it could have been some random other vehicle which is kept there and it would not pass scrutiny.
Correct. It was much later that the scooter in accidental condition was spotted by a patrolling team. It was much later, and also this footage that we are playing right now, it clearly shows that a PCR van moving and it is being followed by the Baleno car that was involved in this entire accident. So see, even though the police are saying that they are not certain of what time this footage is, whether it is from after the incident or whether at that time the body was being dragged along and these police staff turned a blind eye towards it. That is something that the police team, the separate team that has been set up to look into the laxity and dysfunctionality of police, that is looking into. But right now, as you mentioned, Anand, that multiple questions are being raised.
Just hold on, Anvit. You're saying that this CCTV footage has the grey Baleno also? Is it following the PCR van, or is the PCR van coming in after the Baleno passes?
See, there's a car that we see, that is following the PCR. First PCR moves and then the Baleno car is coming. So both the vehicles are seen in this footage. But police have not come on record to say whether this is the same Baleno, whether this PCR staff was aware that this Baleno is one involved in the accident. They have also not come on record saying that what time this footage is from, because they had since the beginning been saying that whatever time these CCTV footages are reflecting, the DVR mostly has reflects a different time than the actual time, because it is connected with the internet and it shows the global time. This is the argument that they have given earlier also in the day when we spoke to them, that how different CCTV footages, the one showing Nidhi reaching home, the one showing these two women leaving the hotel, how are they reflecting some different time than what the police have been saying. So their argument is that DVRs usually show a different time, and that the footage from one in which Nidhi can be seen reaching home, they said that DVR was running 50 minutes slower than the actual time, and the footage from the hotel in which two women are seen leaving the hotel, they are saying that was at least 15 minutes slower than the actual time. This is their argument is. But this footage, the particular footage that we are playing right now, if this police gypsy that was following the vehicle that is being followed by Baleno, if that the body was right there, and if they managed to turn a blind eye towards it, then it certainly is a laxity.
Let me ask you a simple question, Anvit. What is the distance from the hotel to Nidhi's residence in Mangolpuri? What is the distance from the hotel to Anjali's residence? What is the distance?
These all areas fall in a radius of less than 2 to 5 kilometers. Maximum, these men had been dragging Anjali around for 12 to 13 kilometers. But we've measured the distance from the
I'm just pulling away from you, going across to Nikhil. Nikhil, have the Delhi police reached Nidhi's residence? What's happening at Nidhi's residence?
Okay, so Anand, these are the visuals we were showing you from outside the residence of Nidhi here in Sultanpuri. So two of the officials from the Delhi police, they have just entered inside the residence. If you remember, Anand, this afternoon, a team of the Delhi police official, they had reached here after the emergence of the new video and the discrepancies which is being reported since this particular morning. So these are the visuals. Again, I would like to show you. I would urge my camera person Ravi Ranjan to keep
yet again, a team of the Delhi police officials, two of the police persons have just gone inside this particular place. So this is the place, this is the residence of Nidhi, who is said to be the companion of the deceased person, Anjali. And in the CCTV as well, which has been exclusively assessed by CNN News 18, this is the residence on which she was seen entering inside on the intervening night of 31st and 1st of January. So these are the people, these are the locals who have gathered here. These are the neighbors.
No, Nikhil, what time did the cops come? Have they come with a specific purpose? And is Nidhi inside her residence at this point? Because Nidhi's neighbor said that she asked for a charger, C-type charger, to charge her phone. And he says that was at 2:30 when we opened the gate for her, and we also allowed her to charge. I took the phone from her and I put it on charge. That's what the neighbor has said. So, but Nidhi has come out and said कि मेरा phone टूट गया था, charge क्यों कर रही थी वो? So there are discrepancies in what she is saying too.
Well, exactly, Anand, and this is the reason why the suspicion is being raised over the statement being made by Nidhi. Yesterday, if you remember, she had said in the public domain while speaking to CNN News 18 that her phone got broken. This is the reason why she was unable to make a distress call, and the best option available for her at that particular point, at that particular spot where the accident took place, was with her that she should immediately reach out to the residents as well. And she said she had reiterated all the details to her mother. But now what we are seeing is that after the emergence of the new video, after the suspicion which has been raised, after her statement, and it is coming from different stakeholders
Is Nidhi
as
in
well,
her residence right now?
NCW Chief Swati Maliwal. Yes, Anand, Nidhi is very much inside the residence. This is the reason why a team of the Delhi police officials, they have gone inside, and these are the visuals. Again, I would like to show you, this is the current residence of Nidhi. She is very much inside. This is the Sultanpuri area. Distance, in fact, to mention precisely, Anand, this is just a kilometer away from the Sultanpuri police station. So today, during the noon time, a team of the Delhi police official, they had come, but yet again, a while back, just minutes back, two of the officials of the Delhi police, they have also, yet again, they have come here to record the statement. Or what exactly is the thing is something which we will get to know in a short while from now. Back to you, Anand.
Rather than actually unraveling it, it's just getting further and further twisted. Now it looks like and with each passing hour, there are more twists that are emerging. We'll stay with the visuals that are coming in from Nikhil, because the cops may step out, and where Nikhil, I'm going to ask you to then try and speak with them and see if you can get a comment out of them as to why they have come back to Nidhi's residence. But let's quickly go to Sherin at Sultanpuri police station. Why is it that the cops have still not upgraded the charges and made it 302? Because the family has said that they want capital punishment. The SHO in the past has told News 18 that if the family asks for severe charges, we'll do it in the FIR. Why are the cops dithering, despite the evidence that they have already unearthed? Shireen.
Well, Anand, in fact, the family members, like you pointed out, has in fact been demanding capital punishment for all the accused in the case. And the Delhi police, on the other hand, in their defense, has been saying that, in fact, the investigation is still on. And that is why the FSL team was here at Sultanpuri police station. The FSL team, that comprises of about 6 members, reached the Sultanpuri police station at about 3 p.m. And for almost 2 hours, along with the DCP Harinder Singh, they were present inside the police station. We have shown the visuals of how the Baleno which hit the Anjali scooty. The scooty was also in fact parked, kept lying just aside the car. So a proper inaction of how the collision would have happened and how Anjali would have ended up there. Because a lot of people have this question that how did Anjali really got tangled and how did she got under the car is the question that everyone is asking.
I'm pulling away because there is activity outside Nidhi's residence. Yes, Nikhil, have the cops stepped out? Well, there we can see Nikhil, Vijay is bringing us the pictures of Nikhil actually trying to walk along with the cops. It's very narrow lanes. So if there is a bit of a different problem with the network, bear with us, viewers. These are live visuals, raw footage coming to you. Nikhil, if you can hear me, tell us what happened, these two cops. How long were they with you? And how long were they inside Nidhi's residence?
So, Anand, So Anand, as per the details, they had gone inside the residence of Nidhi, who is one of the companion. A while back, they must have stayed inside the residence for close to 4 to 5 minutes. And we tried speaking to the cops who have just left the residence of Nidhi. Although they are not, allowed to speak to the media persons in the public domain. Officially, they are not designated to speak to the media. But yes, she was very much inside the residence. But as far as the looking forward as far as the case is concerned, we have been given to understand from the Delhi police highly placed sources is that the Delhi police is now going to join all the dots, and also they are in the process of bringing out the CDR as well, the call detail recording, and then they are going to see whether the statement which is given by Nidhi is true to the fact or not. Then only the further developments are expected from this case. Back to you, Anand.
Right. So CDR records are now going to be used to not just pinpoint location, but to also confirm whether or not Nidhi and Anjali were together, because the family is alleging that Anjali was alone at the time of the incident and that Nidhi is being deliberately planted. The four accused, ladies and gentlemen, even as there may be different versions coming through between the two, that is Anjali's family and also Nidhi, and Nidhi is the eyewitness as claimed by the Delhi police. Let's not forget the brutes. They are the brutes who were sitting inside that vehicle and who dragged Anjali, and they knew what they were doing. That's what the evidence points to. Deepak Khanna, an auto driver, Amit Khanna, who works in a bank, Krishan, who works at a Spanish culture center, Mithun, who's a hairdresser, and Manoj Mittal, who's a ration dealer. Out of these five, four were inside the vehicle, and the fifth is the one who owns the vehicle. All of them are less than 30 years old. Let's not forget these brutes. They deserve the maximum punishment, because increasingly statements, evidence, video footage points to the fact that they knew what they were doing. They dragged a 23-year-old 12 kilometers, and they thought they have been able to dispose and dump off the body and get away with something as brutal and gruesome as this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not forget that. These brutes cannot be allowed to get away. We take a very short break. Stay with us here on The Nation at 5.
Myself, maybe you had something to drink. But I mean, the entire thing is really shocking, you know. I don't know what kind of men are these. And I cannot believe, even if you have music playing or not playing, when you're driving, you would know. You would know. And especially when the car has hit a person, there's a scooty, and apparently it was a headlong shave.
Yeah.
So you would know. You would know. So I think it's terrible. It's terrible that this happened.
No, but the reason I asked you that, and she goes on to say, you know, her phone got destroyed in the melee. Okay, fine, we believe that. She says, I went home. Did you tell anybody in your family? She said, no, I just told my mother that mere saath accident hui hai. Yes, she was in shock, no doubt about it. But put any of us in that position. If we have a friend who is stuck under the chassis of a car and whose body is being dragged out, the least we'll do is, you know, cry out loud, raise an alarm.
No, we would not. Many of us would not do that. Some of us would, even if it was not a friend. But many of us would get scared, would not. And a lot of men wouldn't do that. A lot of people won't do that. A lot of family members, to protect their own, would not. To protect themselves, won't. This is the nature of who we are as a people. And I, you know, so I don't want to say, and you know, I don't know how much truth the Nidhi is saying is owning up to, where her parents are concerned. So, you know, just because she's scared to own up something, because, you know, because she was part of it, she says, and I heard her correctly, that she learned of it the next day. But she saw what happened. But she also, she incriminates the men. She says she could have been saved. So she doesn't let the men get away.
No, fair enough. Look, those men are under arrest. They should, the strictest punishment that the law can afford should be meted out on them.
Why vilify another girl? Let's vilify the men.
Let's talk about I agree with that. No one is trying to take away the focus from these brutes, these absolute brutes who, despite knowing that a body was stuck under their car, continued to drive on for a good 10 to 12 kilometers. I want to ask Dr. Anika Mehrotra of the Congress. The point is that over the course of this 2 hours, at 2:04 or 2:05, this accident happens. And then at 3:30, the first set of PCR calls happen. The police reach at 4:15. So a good 2 hours plus, this body was driven around in this stretch in Sultanpuri for 10 to 12 kilometers. The occupants of the car knew there was a dead body. They didn't bother to stop. The police, at least 3 PCR calls went out, and I'll play out, we have a bite of an eyewitness as well a little later on in the program. But at least 3 PCR calls went out, and the police only reached at 4:15, a good 2 hours and 15 minutes later.
So, because you see, I feel the tagline of the police, Nyay, Seva, Suraksha, I mean, it doesn't even befit them now. It's unfortunate with such kind of tagline. What kind of performance is this? So it has been happening in Delhi, and I've seen other reporters, sir, who've been to that area and have taken a recce of that area. They say that there are lampposts, but there are no lights in it. I mean, and there was they did that kind of the scene there, but they could not find any PCR after the event also, after the episode, after this ghastly act. So what I'm trying to say is that it's mere lip service. None of us are concerned of the fact that these things are happening in and around. So I think it's high time that we stop lip service. Nirbhaya case was enough for us to understand the gravity of the situation, sir. And now we are not bothered about what's happening in Nirbhaya Fund. What about fast track court? What are we doing with all this Mahila Ayog and stuff like that? So there's no fear. No fear at all of the law, and they know very well how to dilute it and find lacunas in it and scrape through without being even, getting any punishment.
Priyanka Kakkar, I think Dr. Mehrotra has a point. After Nirbhaya happened, there were a bunch of committees that sat, retired Supreme Court justices looked into it, J.S. Verma committee was there as well, and many of those recommendations that were made, including creating a distress signal service for women, a one-stop center for rape victims, woman police constable in every station, all female police stations. Tell our viewers, I mean, you've been in power for the last 8 years in Delhi. What have you done to change this? You had promised X number of street lamps across Delhi and 1.4 or 1.5 lakh CCTVs across Delhi. What has happened to all of that? Yes, the policing was appalling, no doubt about it. And I'll ask Mr. Kakkar about it. Sorry, Mr. Srivastav about it. But you please tell us about these other measures that were promised to be implemented after Nirbhaya.
Zaka, good evening to everyone. Zaka, I can go.
Back on the Nation at 5 with news just coming through, and this is on the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. It's a CNN News 18 exclusive. The TTP has issued a threat to ruling parties, the PMLN and PPP in Pakistan, against attacks on their leadership in order to please America. This is what the letter says. They have named Bilawal Bhutto and also the Pak Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, demanding a review of the policy against the TTP and a pro-America posture. They have warned that if the government doesn't restructure the policy, they will start activities against the leadership of these parties. So this is an open threat to the leadership of the PMLN and PPP that if you don't mend your ways, we will target you. And this comes just a day after the National Security Council, under the aegis of the government and under Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, actually approved hard, solid action and crackdown against the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan all across Pakistani soil. Now, the TTP is also claiming in its 2022 annual report that they killed 446 Pakistani soldiers in a total of 367 attacks. 348 of these operations happened in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa region. And the maximum attacks concentration in a month was 69 in the month of December. This was after the ceasefire between Pakistan and the TTP ended. And Pakistan has faced the most casualties from the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan and Baloch Liberation Army. These are the two outfits that have inflicted maximum damage on the Pakistan security forces. So this is the update that we have here on the Nation at 5. Quickly shifting focus, moving away from what's happening over in Pakistan with strife and fights there to what is the internal security situation in Jammu and Kashmir and the Rajouri attack. Now, the Rajouri twin attacks, where 6 civilians, including 2 children, were killed, has sent shockwaves. Questions are also being raised on the rise of terror in a largely peaceful Jammu region, especially this Chenab Valley, and which has been communally sensitive. Security forces are continuing cordon and search operations in the Dhangri village area to trace the attackers. In fact, there has been additional troops that have also been deployed in this entire region. About 18 CRPF troops have moved in, and there is an announcement of 10 lakh rupee reward, 10 lakh rupee cash reward to anybody who shares information of the terrorists involved in these twin attacks. Now, security forces are saying this is a new outfit, a new grouping that has infiltrated and has entered this region. There could be others who are part of this group, and there could be other strikes too. That's what we are given to understand. But in the midst of all of this, we are also joined by a very prominent citizen of Jammu and Kashmir, who is also one of the founding members of the Kashmir Chamber of Commerce. He's the president of the Hotel Association and prominent businessman and face, Mushtaq Chhaya. Mushtaq Chhaya ji, namaste. How would you see these attacks that have happened in Rajouri, where Hindu families were targeted and shot down? Not the perfect way to start 2023.
Namaste, Anand Sahab. This is very sad and very inhuman. बहुत ही अफसोस है, बहुत ही अफसोस है, बहुत ही अफसोस है। एक इनोसेंट फैमिली अपने घर में रह रही है अपने बच्चों के साथ और ऐसा अटैक, आई थिंक दिस इज़ टोटल इनह्यूमन। नोबडी विल, खासकर हम जम्मू कश्मीर के लोग इसके लिए बहुत ही अफसोस कर रहे हैं। तो ये नहीं होना चाहिए, नहीं होना चाहिए। अनफ इज़ अनफ, बहुत हुआ है।
आप इसे किसी साजिश के तहत देखते हैं मुश्ताक छाया जी? बिकॉज लास्ट 280+ days, nearly about a year, has been largely peaceful. There have been no hartals, no stone pelting incidents, no bunds, and these attacks now being concentrated in the Jammu region. There have been a record number of tourists too. जी
देखिए, जहाँ तक मेरा है, नो डाउट हम 1-1.5 साल से पीस में चल रहे हैं और हम चाहते हैं सारा जम्मू कश्मीर पीस ही रहे। हमने बहुत परेशानियां देखी है 30-32 साल से। आज के दिन में वी नीड अ पीस, और उसको खलबली करने के लिए ही ये हो सकता है। तो जिसके अपने दुकानदार है, क्या है मसला, बट वेरी अनफॉर्चुनेट। तो हम इसको टोटल कंडेम कर रहे हैं
जी।
जम्मू कश्मीर के सारे लोग, जो मुझे उम्मीद है हम खासकर बिजनेस कम्युनिटी टोटल कंडेम कर रहे हैं इसके साथ। तो दिस इज
I welcome the condemnation, sir. I welcome the condemnation. Quickly, one last question. आप जम्मू एंड कश्मीर एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, LG मनोज सिन्हा से क्या उम्मीद रखते हैं? There is a lot of work done, but what more needs to be done?
करना तो चाहिए, और भी बहुत वो कर भी रहे हैं, और भी ज़्यादा करने की ज़रूरत है। तो वैसे हम क्या उनको वो कर रहे हैं, तो हमारी यही उनसे भी अपील है वो और करे। जहाँ तक सिक्योरिटी का मसला है, पीस का मसला है, लोगों के साथ ठीक ठाक होना ही चाहिए। लोग और गवर्नमेंट शुड बी वन।
Well, Mushtaq Chhaya ji, thank you for your time and thank you for expressing solidarity with every citizen of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Thank you very much for speaking with us. With that, it's a wrap of Nation at 5. Zaka ready with Viewpoint.
Good evening, this is Viewpoint. I'm Zaka Jacob, the star witness of the police in the Anjali hit and drag case, Nidhi. Today, there are serious questions being raised in her version of events. Her claim that Anjali was drunk has been debunked by the family.